While Gilmore Girls has a type, the show also has some major flaws to it. Here are 5 times that Gilmore Girls was the worst. Number 5. Lorelai Gilmore's jealousy with her own daughter. We've all seen Gilmore Girls, and for most of us, it's a comfort show that we don't mind going back to every time we're feeling down. But the more you watch the show, the more you'll realize the flaws within the characters, and we'll be looking at some of those flaws today in this video. Let's talk about one of the main characters, Lorelai Gilmore. Lorelai might be a favorite for some people, but her character is the absolute definition of toxic. A major chunk of the show's plot is based on Lorelai's pregnancy and her plans to raise her child away from her elitist parents, Richard and Emily. Lorelai Gilmore moves out of her parents' house and starts off an independent life to support herself and her daughter. However, she's eventually forced to return to her parents to ask them for financial support in order to cover Rory's tuition fee. However, even though her parents agree to pay the fee, they set a condition that Lorelai and Rory will have to maintain regular contact with them. Upon agreeing to these terms, it's pretty obvious that Lorelai ends up regretting her decision. Every time she sees her daughter getting close to her parents, she ends up getting in a very petty argument with Rory. Within no time, it was clear that Lorelai was jealous of the fact that Rory had a better relationship with her parents than she ever did. Well, we think that fits the definition of toxic. What do you guys think? Moreover, her commitment issues have set a very poor example for Rory, and not only is she insecure about her daughter's relationship with her own parents, she doesn't even treat Rory's boyfriends right. Well, before we get into more details about the 5 times the Gilmore Girls was the worst, if you're liking our content so far, do be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you stay updated about news regarding your favorite shows, and turn on the notifications button so you can be notified every time we post a new video. Number 4. Rory Gilmore cheats on her first boyfriend. We've already talked about how Lorelai Gilmore was not the ideal mother for Rory Gilmore, but while some may say that it was Lorelai who was a bad influence on her daughter, the truth is that Rory Gilmore was never a nice person to begin with. If you remember everything that happened in all of the seasons of the show, you might be able to recall the moment when Rory Gilmore cheated on Dean, who also happened to be her first boyfriend. The two seemed to be in a pretty healthy relationship and had been dating for quite some time, but Rory Gilmore was clearly looking for something else when she kissed Jess and cheated on Dean. What's even worse is that her cheating on Dean with Jess was not just a spur-of-the-moment thing. She had been crushing on Jess for a long time and even got upset when he kissed someone else. We get it if Rory liked someone else while being in a relationship with Dean, but if she was a good person, she would have handled the situation maturely and wouldn't break Dean's heart. Well, we suppose Rory Gilmore had no ounce of loyalty to her first and long-term boyfriend. Number 3. Trix Gilmore's constant attempts at intimidating Emily Gilmore. When it comes to Emily Gilmore, she's one of the strongest characters on the show. Instead of being the person who walks on eggshells around everyone, Emily Gilmore is the character who intimidates everyone and makes sure she's the strongest and most confident person in the room. However, there's one person who doesn't hold Emily Gilmore in the same high regard as others. This person is none other than Trix Gilmore, Richard Gilmore's mother. Being the head of the family, Trix Gilmore clearly has a strong hold over everyone's lives and makes sure they're aware of that. There have been many instances on the show when she's tried to not just insult Emily Gilmore, but has made her feel terrible about herself. When Emily Gilmore is usually the most confident person in the room, she's always very nervous and jittery around Trix Gilmore. Whether or not Emily tries to please Trix, it seems like Trix is just not in the mood to appreciate anything that Emily does. Number 2. An excessive amount of privilege. It's no surprise that the Gilmore family is loaded with wealth, and they don't mind showing it off. But the fact that they reek of privilege kind of makes them insufferable to watch. From studying in private schools to dropping out of Yale just because someone else thinks that you're not good enough to be a journalist just shows how less Rory and Lorelai Gilmore have to care about things. Moreover, Rory Gilmore's rich girl attitude, coupled with her acting as a brat and storming off with her grandmother, just goes to show how much accountability she's ever taken in her entire life. Number 1. Lorelai Gilmore's commitment issues. Both Lorelai and Rory are terrible when it comes to committing to relationships. For instance, when it comes to Christopher, it's pretty obvious that Lorelai only goes after him when he's dating someone else. Even when we look at Luke, he's been in love with Lorelai forever, but instead of giving him a clear answer, she has no problems in toying with his feelings either. Well, can you think of any other moments when the Gilmore Girls was the worst? The comment section is all yours.